Welcome to NFL Live. Happy Friday. I am joined in the studio by the one and only Dan Orlovsky and remotely by Mina Kimes and Ryan Clark, who was just vibing to Dua Lipa before we came on the air. Who knew you were a big Dua Lipa fan? There you go.
That's for Marcus.
I love it.
Shout out to the flu. Shout out to the flu.
All right, shout out to the 40-somethings, you guys. How about this game left?
Back to back, another Sunday night opportunity against my former team. So I'm not going to ride the roller coaster, and I know Mike isn't. And hopefully you guys follow suit.
Did you expect to ever have this feeling again?
It's a good question. I didn't feel like it felt like I might not, to be honest with you. So, it's pretty special.
Well, RC, now we know why Mike Tomlin didn't want him traded to the Bengals. That had to hurt your heart, the way the Steelers played defense in that one.
Yeah, it definitely made me hate the Cleveland Browns more than I already hated them. I think, Drake and the young people, they were looking for the function all summer with Nokia. I think last night the Bengals and the Steelers were looking for the unction because that's the age of these quarterbacks. And Joe Flacco absolutely played out of his mind. But when you think about the reason the Steelers were outplayed, it was schematics and also people.
Yeah.
The way that Zach Taylor approached this game was early on, if you were going to play too high, they were comfortable handing the football off. Accurate, the velocity it was thrown with. And then we watched players on the outside just be better than the other guys. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins were better than Joey Porter and Jalen Ramsey. It was truly an epic night for this Bengals offense, but it was an epic debacle defensively for the Pittsburgh Steelers from Mike Tomlin and Terrell Austin. It was a total miss and a failure.
Yeah, the Steelers defense can really only do one thing well right now, and that's rush the passer. And if you're going up against a quarterback like Joe Flacco, who had a 2.44 second time to throw last night, which is super fast, you're taking away the one thing they do well. Such a glaring mismatch. And when they didn't play man, they played a lot of really predictable cover three. And Flacco said, cool, I'm just going to throw into the voids every time. This is a defense that really needs to dramatically rethink things if they want to be a competitive playoff team. Because right now, I do not see them holding up their end of the bargain.
Yeah, unengaged is the way that I would describe the whole defensive unit and plan. Just completely unengaged. If you watch them defend the run, guys are standing up with pad level left and right. Guys are getting inside their coverages so much, they disguise themselves into a problem. Like sometimes the safeties tried to rotate so differently and so late that Joe was like, oh, there's gashing holes backside there. Corners tried to rotate to the half, and it left just voids to the sidelines. And so I think that's the big takeaway is, this is a defense I felt like was crazy simple last year. Are they trying to do too much right now where it's
No. Yeah.
all the parts aren't connected?
Didn't seem like they made any adjustments. Yeah, RC.
I'm sorry, Heidi, just really quick. The Bengals game plan was also pretty predictable.
Totally.
It wasn't that the Bengals came out and did something that you, myself, or MK didn't know pregame. We knew exactly what it was going to be, and the Pittsburgh Steelers did seem disengaged, but also unprepared, and they had an inability to adjust, which was the scarier piece of the entire night.
Yeah, it's so weird. They're 0-7 on Thursdays against division opponents under Mike Tomlin. That's just a strange
That one doesn't make
stat.
sense.
Yeah, it doesn't.
NFL smelling salts rule as Aaron Rodgers spotted taking enormous sniff for Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers was spotted mid-game taking a sniff of some smelling salts before throwing an 80-yard touchdown to DK Metcalf's 05:55 ET. The 1st of October 2025 Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers took an enormous hit from some smelling salt seconds before throwing an 80-yard touchdown to DK Metcalf just months after the NFL tried to ban the 41-year-old was spotted on NFL Network's broadcast of the Steelers game in Dublin with the Minnesota Vikings taking a sniff of some smelling salts before ripping a slant pass to Metcalf, who took it to the house. In the end, the Steelers came out on top 24-21, moving them to 3-1 on the year, a result which also made ESPN's Dan Orlovsky bold prediction about how Pittsburgh would start the 2025 season look foolish. Similar articles to Trey Hendrickson landing spots emerge as Bengals star. Fans all say same thing after Aaron Rodgers. Joe Flacco. Aaron Rodgers issues Joe Flacco verdict after Mike. Joe Flacco has priceless reaction to Ja'Marr Chase's. Bengals fans savage Browns with ruthless Joe Flacco. Aaron Rodgers returning to Steelers for 2026 season. Aaron Rodgers blasts Steelers playing surface as borderline. Joe Flacco shows true colors as NFL career hung in. Raider star says exactly what he thinks about Travis. 3 best bets for Pittsburgh Steelers versus Cincinnati Bengals. Aaron Rodgers angrily shoves teammate after being tackled. Joe Flacco reveals thoughts on Mike Tomlin's verdict. Giants star Cam Scatterbo clears air following alleged. Aaron Rodgers' face says. It all after taking massive. Al Michaels told by TNF viewers to retire after embarrassing. 3 wide receivers New York Giants should trade for after. Fuming Aaron Rodgers snaps at Steelers star after badly. Justin Fields drops injury bombshell ahead of Jets. Joe Burrow injury status and recovery timeline as Joe. Micah Parsons doubles down on tush push comments. Trey Hendrickson landing spots emerge as Bengals star. Just days prior, Seattle Seahawks kicker Jason Myers was also spotted taking a hit from some smelling salts before kicking a game-winning field goal against the Arizona Cardinals. But, earlier this year, the NFL announced they would be banning the use of smelling salts, much to San Francisco 49ers tight end George Kittle's dismay. However, they later watered down that decision swiftly. Meanwhile, the Buffalo Bills have urged fans to wear specific clothing for their upcoming Patriots game. Players have long used smelling salts to help improve their alertness, but the NFL wanted to stop them from using them as they could mask the signs of a concussion. Smelling salts come in the form of packets or bottled powders. They feature ammonia and various other chemicals deliberately aimed at giving off a strong smell. They can be used to treat people who have fainted, but athletes, like Rodgers, Myers and Kittle, who admitted during the off-season he takes them before every offensive drive, often use them to become more alert and aware. You may like in August, NFL Network's Mike Garafolo obtained a league memo sent to teams, explaining the decision behind banning them. In 2024, the FDA issued a warning to companies that produce commercially available ammonia inhalants, AIS, as well as to consumers about the purchase and use of AIS, regarding the lack of evidence supporting the safety or efficacy of AIS marketed for improving mental alertness or boosting energy, the memo read. The FDA noted potential negative effects from AI use. AIS also have the potential to mask certain neurologic signs and symptoms, including some potential signs of concussion. As a result, the NFL Head, Neck, and Spine Committee recommended prohibiting the use of AIS for any purpose during play in the NFL. Similar articles to Trey Hendrickson landing spots emerge as Bengals star. Fans all say same thing after Aaron Rodgers. Joe Flacco. Aaron Rodgers issues Joe Flacco verdict after Mike. Joe Flacco has priceless reaction to Ja'Marr Chase's. Bengals fans savage Browns with ruthless Joe Flacco. Aaron Rodgers returning to Steelers for 2026 season. Aaron Rodgers blasts Steelers playing surface as borderline. Joe Flacco shows true colors as NFL career hung in. Raiders star says exactly what he thinks about Travis. 3 best bets for Pittsburgh Steelers versus Cincinnati Bengals. Aaron Rodgers angrily shoves teammate after being tackled. Joe Flacco reveals thoughts on Mike Tomlin's verdict. Giant star Cam Scatterbo clears air following alleged. Aaron Rodgers' face says it all after taking massive. Al Michaels told by TNF viewers to retire after embarrassing. 3 wide receivers New York Giants should trade for after. Fuming Aaron Rodgers snaps at Steeler star. After badly, Justin Fields drops injury bombshell ahead of Jets. Joe Burrow injury status and recovery timeline as Joe. Micah Parsons doubles down on tush push comments. Trey Hendrickson landing spots emerge as Bengals star. However, it was then later revealed that players can still take them, as long as the smelling salts and ammonia packets are not provided to them by their team, following the initial news of the ban. ESPN's Adam Schefter posted on X back in August. Get a whiff of this. It turns out that players still can use smelling salts under the NFL's new policy. It's just that teams can't provide it to them, per ESPN's at Kalinkala. Want to watch more live sports? Peacock has your favorite sports, shows, and more all in one place. Peacock offers plans starting at $7.99 so you can stream live sports like NFL, Premier League, and Big Ten football. Trey Hendrickson landing spots emerge as Bengals star abruptly ruled out of TNF clash with Steelers Cincinnati. Bengals edge rusher Trey Hendrickson was ruled out of Thursday night's game against the Pittsburgh Steelers with a hip injury as trade rumors involving the NFL star continue to swirl. The Philadelphia Eagles have surfaced as an unexpected contender in the NFL trade market as Bengals edge rusher Trey Hendrickson continues to battle injury concerns and questions surrounding his future in Cincinnati. Hendrickson ranks among the NFL's elite pass rushers and was sidelined from Thursday night's clash against the Pittsburgh Steelers due to a hip injury sustained in last week's 27-18 defeat to the Green Bay Packers. His availability was originally listed as questionable, but the Bengals subsequently announced he would sit out. Similar articles to as Joe Flacco has priceless reaction to JMR chases. Aaron Rodgers issues Joe Flacco verdict after Mike. Joe Flacco reveals thoughts on Mike Tomlin's verdict. Joe Flacco shows true colors as NFL career hung in. Bengals fans savage Browns with ruthless Joe Flacco. Aaron Rodgers angrily shoves teammate after being tackled. 3 best bets for Pittsburgh Steelers versus Cincinnati Bengals. Fuming Aaron Rodgers snaps at Steelers star after badly. Fans all say same thing after Aaron Rodgers Joe Flacco. Aaron Rodgers returning to Steelers for 2026 season. Aaron Rodgers' face says it all after taking massive. Mike Tomlin delivers savage response to Browns trading. Joe Burrow injury status and recovery timeline as Joe. Aaron Rodgers blasts Steelers playing surface as borderline. Al Michaels told by TNF viewers to retire after. Embarrassing. JMR Chase makes his feelings clear on Joe Flacco. Giant star Cam Scatterbo clears air following alleged. Joe Flacco's message to Shadur Sanders after sudden. Pittsburgh Steelers quickly act to sign Philadelphia. Julian Edelman sums up Mike Vrabel's impact on new.